So the night I quit my third business, I took my business partner out for lunch, for dinner, I should say. And over a glass of wine, I looked in her eyes and I told her I was quitting. And the look that was reflected back at me was one of disappointment. Now, that was the first time I'd faced disappointment. Remember, I'd quit 2 businesses before this, and those business partners, what I'd faced was anger. So that disappointment really woke me up. And it was that disappointment that had me tossing and turning till about 2 o'clock in the morning that night. So at 2 a.m., I decided, all right, sleep's out of the question. So I got up and I went down to my living room and I started to journal. And my idea was, say hello for me. My idea was that if I could just journal it out, I could understand why I was quitting again. Well, mostly the word that I was just writing on that page was why. Why? I didn't expect an answer. Now, what happened next is going to sound a little woo-woo, and I apologize for that. But what happened was my pen started writing, and I started reading the words that were written there. Yes, they were in my familiar handwriting, but they were coming through me, not off me. Now, I know now what happened. I tapped into another part of my brain. I went beyond the rational into the subconscious, and my subconscious was actually communicating with me. At the time, I didn't know this. Anyway, over the next weeks, months, I dialogued back and forth with this journal, and it started to flesh out this repatterning technique. And as I started to apply it, something amazing happened. The first thing that happened is those panic attacks just seemed to dissolve. But then the next thing that happened was really freaky. I looked inside myself for this desire to quit, and it was just gone. It was as if I had stepped out of one identity in which quitting was a possibility into another identity in which quitting just was not a possibility. It was that black and white. And at that point, I said, okay, this is worth spreading. This message is worth getting out there. And so I started teaching it. And I teach all over the world. I teach in Australia, I teach in England, I teach in Hong Kong, I teach in South America, I teach in USA, I teach in Canada. And regardless of where anybody comes from, and regardless of what brought them to repatterning, if they apply it, the results are remarkable.